And I actually think there's a huge amount of product growth. So you're right that the Bitcoin ETF and beta-based exposure has done 0 to 1. Now it's going to do 1 to 10, but maybe that's less interesting than the 0 to 1 process. Within that space, I think the next big marginal product is an index-based exposure for people who just want crypto. But again, that's not maybe the most like innovative piece. Outside of that, the massive glaring areas that I see, probably the largest opportunity is income generation on Bitcoin, which can be approached from multiple perspectives. It can be approached from a derivatives overlay perspective. That's probably the most popular. It can be approached from the emerging staking ecosystem. I know that's a controversial concept, but that's another approach. It can be approached in the lending ecosystem, which comes with its own attendant risk. But the demand for existing large Bitcoin holders to generate some degree of income on their holding while still gaining, a majority of the upside exposure is a massive TAM, right? Let's say there's $2 trillion of Bitcoin to round up. What percentage of that wants to generate some amount of income while still having upsides? It's not 2%, right? It may be 25%. It may be 50%. It's a bigger TAM than ETH. Right? ETH is a $200 billion asset. The TAM for income generation on Bitcoin, just a massive asset. So I think that's a huge area of innovation, something I spent a lot of time thinking about. And then I think anyone looking at the growth of BITL, the growth of tokenized assets, I think has to be thinking there's a huge on-chain opportunity. Bitwise plays a little bit in that field in the staking ecosystem. We acquired a Testant, which is an Ethereum staking provider. And that's sort of a down payment to building on the on-chain space. But I think that is, if you're talking about $1 trillion opportunities, ultimately Bitcoin income is something like that from an AUM perspective. And then on-chain, probably real world assets exposure is also a really significant opportunity.